In this tutorial, we will cover how to photograph your two-dimensional and three-dimensional artwork using your smartphone and the free software that comes with it. First, I will demonstrate how to photograph two different types of two-dimensional art pieces. One is a colorful acrylic painting created on canvas, and the other is an intaglio print on paper. Where's the best place to take your photographs? When photographing anything, the most important element to consider is light. To photograph your artwork, I recommend using natural light, as in from the sun. The first step is to find a spot in your home with a lot of natural light. The brighter, the better. This light could be coming in from a window, or you could photograph your artwork outside. The light needs to be even and consistent. Avoid taking pictures in a spot that has shadows that break up the image of your artwork. Also, make sure that you do not see the shadow of you or your phone in the image. I chose to take my photographs on a desk that is set up near a window that lets in a lot of light during the day. In addition to having a lot of light, you want to find a spot that will give you a simple background. The more simple the background, the more your artwork will stand out. Both my desk and my walls are white, which provide a nice backdrop to photograph my art and objects. Once you have found your spot, the next step is to take the picture using your smartphone. I'm using the camera app that comes with the iPhone to both shoot and edit my photographs. When making your images, here are some things that you want to keep in mind. Photograph the entire piece of art. Do not crop your work. It is best to see the entire piece, including all of the corners. To make the artwork appear larger in the photograph, get closer to the piece rather than using the zoom function. Using a smartphone camera to zoom often lessens the quality of the final photograph. Square the artwork within the image. You do not want a crooked photograph of your artwork. Focus on your artwork by tapping on the screen, and take several photographs so that you can choose the best one to turn in. Now, watch me photograph my acrylic painting. First, open the camera app. My artwork is already laid out on the table in a patch of sunlight. With my camera directly above the artwork, I tap on the screen to focus. You see the yellow square that comes up indicating where I am focusing. I take the photograph by pressing the large white circle at the bottom of the screen. Here is my photograph as it was shot directly from the camera. Next, I want to edit the photograph. Again, I will use the editing abilities that come with the camera app. The goal when you edit your artwork is for your photograph to look as much like the original artwork as possible. I find that when I photograph my artwork in a space with enough light, there's not too much editing that I need to do. The iPhone camera app has a lot of options to edit. Although it comes with a lot of cool filters that could have interesting effects, it's not a good idea to use them for your artwork, because that will change how your artwork looks too much. Watch as I edit my first photo and tell you about the editing tools that you can use. The editing tools that you will use include the following. Exposure will alter how bright or how dark the entire photograph is. Highlights will alter only the highlights or the bright spots of your image. Shadows will adjust only the shadows or the dark spots in your image. Contrast refers to how many midtones there are between your darkest darks and your lightest lights. Saturation controls the intensity of the color in your photograph. Warmth controls the color temperature of the image, or how warm or golden versus how cool or blue the image looks. Make small changes as you edit, because a little bit can go a long way. An over-edited image will not look like the original piece of art. While editing, you can also change the orientation of the photograph by rotating it. Finally, I'm choosing to crop out the excess background that is seen outside of my artwork. If you shot your image slightly crooked, here's where you're able to change that. When I'm done making all of the edits I would like, I click Done to save them. Here is my final image next to the original. The changes are subtle, but the edited image is slightly more saturated, and the adjustments I made to the photograph make it look more like the original painting. Next, watch me photograph and edit my black and white intaglio print. Again, I open my camera app. The artwork is already laid out on the table in a patch of sunlight. With my camera directly above the artwork, I tap on the screen to focus. You see the yellow square that comes up indicating where I am focusing. Next to the yellow square is a sun that you can click on and use to adjust the exposure of the photograph before you take it. You may have noticed that I took a few photos at different ranges, getting closer and closer until the print took up most of the screen. If I were to get too close, the camera would no longer be able to focus. Here is the image of the giraffe print as it was shot in the camera. Now watch as I edit the image. This photo does not need many edits, so I will only make small changes to the highlights and shadows. One trick when editing a monotone or black and white piece of artwork is to desaturate the image, which will remove any ambient color that is in the photograph but not the artwork. This will work with artwork that is created with black and white materials, including graphite or pen and ink work, because it will make the image itself grayscale. Here you can see the before and after images side by side. While they're not dramatically different, the image on the right more accurately represents what the artwork looks like in person. Now I will demonstrate how to photograph two examples of three-dimensional art pieces. One is a colorful ceramic piece, and the other is a hand-carved wooden giraffe statue. Both of these objects were found at flea markets and created by unknown artists. Again, we need to ask ourselves, where is the best place to make our photographs? Just like with your two-dimensional pieces, the most important element to consider is light. Photograph your three-dimensional artwork in a bright spot using natural light. I'm photographing my three-dimensional objects in the same spot as my 2D artwork. Here, the light is even and consistent. Remember to avoid taking pictures in a spot that has shadows that break up the image, and also do not block the light source with your body or with the camera. In addition to having a clean, light-filled surface, you want to have a spot that will give you a simple background. The more simple the background, the more your artwork will stand out. Both my desk and my walls are white, which provided a nice backdrop to photograph my art and objects. When photographing your three-dimensional artwork, here are some things that you want to keep in mind. Place your object 1 to 2 feet away from the background that you are using. This way nothing on the wall will be distracting in your image, and the camera will have an easier time focusing on your art. Bring your camera to the same level as the artwork, meaning lower the camera to the level of your table. Photograph the entire piece of art. Do not crop the work. You may even want to take multiple images to show different sides of the object. To make the artwork appear larger in the photograph, get closer to the piece rather than using the zoom function. Square the artwork with the image. You do not want a crooked photograph of your artwork. Focus on the artwork by tapping on the screen while making the image, and take several photographs so that you can choose the best one to turn in. Watch me photograph my found ceramic vase. First, I open my camera app. The vase is already sitting on the table in a patch of sunlight approximately 2 feet away from the wall in the background. I lower the camera to be on the same level as the vase and tap the screen to focus. You see the yellow square that comes up indicating where I am focusing. I can also use this tool to adjust the exposure if needed. Here's my photograph as it was shot directly from the camera. I took several photographs from slightly different heights, and I chose this image because it shows the patterns on the side of the vase, but we can also see the opening at the top of the vase. Don't forget that it may be necessary to shoot and turn in multiple images of the same object if the artwork looks different on all sides. If it were necessary, I would edit the image using the software that comes with my phone. In this case, I'm happy with how the image looks. The photograph accurately represents the color and patterns on the vase. The glare on the right side of the vase comes directly from the light source. This glare can be reduced by softening the light. This is done best by hanging a sheer white cloth between the light source and the object that you are photographing. Curtains would work well if you have them. Now, watch as I photograph my small wooden giraffe. The giraffe is already placed approximately 2 feet from the wall behind it in the sunlight. I lower my camera down to his level and touch the screen to focus. I chose to photograph this object from both sides, and I will select the best image. Notice how the natural light is coming from the right side of the camera. When I turn the giraffe to face the light, his left side falls into shadow. By using the tool that pops up when I focus, I'm able to adjust the exposure so his body is not too dark. Here is my photograph as it was shot directly from the camera. I chose this image of the few that I made because it shows the patterns on the side of the giraffe well as his form. After you have taken your images and edited them, the final step is to rename your files properly. Move your photographs from your phone to your computer. This can be done by plugging in your phone to your computer, using AirDrop, using text, or using email. Watch as I demonstrate how to do this on my Mac computer. You can see here that I have made a folder for my images. My phone automatically named the images using the format img_some numbers.jpg. To rename the image file, click on the file, hit enter or return, and type the new name you would like to use. It is necessary that you leave the .jpg at the end. I'm renaming my files with my name and underscore and the label that tells me which image it is.